Here's another kicker. I'm going to talk about this. Some of you, it's kind of woo woo. Some of you might go freaking out. Don't freak out on me. What's going on, Fit Fam? Here I am with an update. This is my weekly update, and I just want to say that a lot has been happening within the last week and a half. Has it been that long? I haven't posted a whole thing. This is just because I got out of the shower, because I've been starting to work out and starting to hit the dry sauna for at least 10 minutes, and that has kind of made me sweat, which is probably what I needed. So I'm in the process of getting back into shape. And just to give you an update, I'm going back to the gym. Still trying to sell the equipment that I have currently in the garage, but I've been loving it. The gym is just, it's so nice. And the time I go, usually, like, if I've changed my work hours from 7 to 3, usually get to the gym about 3:30 to 4, and it's not busy, it's not crowded, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving that ability to just relax, focus, concentrate. My workout's changed, very simplistic. What I'm doing right now is I am on Mondays focusing on push exercises, a bench press, dumbbell, shoulders, tricep, push down, and then Tuesdays, I'm switching to any kind of pull exercises, which would be like a seated hammer, lat pull, wide bar curl, doing that, cable lat pulls. And I guess I'm not being, it's like a pull down. And then Wednesdays is legs, doing a glute drive, calf raises, deadlift. Thursdays are upper body incline, lat pull down again, rear cable, lateral raise. Fridays is lower body and core, so like a leg press, lying leg curl, and hanging leg raise. And I gotta tell you, I'm a beginner. I was like, talking about reboot, everything in my life has been rebooting. And I think that's the key is working out. I've been starting off slow because I may not look it, but I'm old. So I'm not lifting like I used to when I was younger, but I'm getting really focusing on the technique of how to lift, doing it slow, being deliberate on my angles, my lift, my shoulder, for some reason today. But you remember back, it's interesting, back in probably about 6 months ago, my shoulder was bothering me. It was popping, and I looked that up, and I think it was like AI. It was like, well, it's because you haven't been lifting. So my shoulder's actually been feeling better. Actually, today I could feel it popping because I was doing a little bit of, yeah, doing a little incline. But it's good. It feels really good. For some reason, I guess I'm the type of guy who needs to be at the gym. I tried this home gym thing just to save money, and what we did was we basically canceled all of our subscriptions like Disney Plus, any kind of HBO, all those type of things, and then just put that money towards a gym membership. Simple. So that's been going on. In the process of rebooting on that subject, the job has been pretty much on board. It's just a crazy, crazy role. I'm learning a new program, an application that is utilized throughout the world, and I've never used it before. I've never heard of it before. So, kind of going through that maintenance exterior of how does this work? What's the workflow? What are the nuances? And there's a ton of nuances. So I think that's the one thing that if you are able to learn and continue to learning, that's the key to life. I think if you are not learning something on a daily basis, you might as well just be dying. It's easy to become sedentary, stop learning new things, and just be on that automation mortality. And I know there's a lot of people that do that work, right? They clock in, they clock out. They go home, turn on the tube, eat crap food, go to bed late, wake up early, super tired, cranky, and just repeat that over and over and over. And I think there's there's friends that have always had that mentality of Friday nights party night, Saturday night party night, Sunday night is when you recover because you got to go back to work, and that just gets old. It gets super super old, and I think I've noticed something as I became older. I'm super content not hanging out with people. But I could be a special case. I could be. I'm an introvert and an only child, so I was always alone. And there's something that's peaceful when you're by yourself and you don't have to attend to everybody. You don't have to yield to their plans. You don't have to go with the crowd. You don't have to come up and be the designated driver, if you will, because I've had to do that. You don't have to put up with your friends' crap if you have those type of friends that are always egging you to do this or that or whatever. You don't have to do that, you know. And my schedule has been I've rebooted my schedule to the point where I wake up at 6, start my job at 7, clock out at 3, go to the gym, come home, dinner with the family, which is very important. At I think 5:30 to 6:30 we have dinner. 6:30 and beyond until like 8 till it's bedtime for bedtime. I work on my side hustle, my side projects. And so that has been getting into a routine like that has been very fulfilling for me and very satisfying. I feel like I'm getting more done by following a schedule than just kind of winging it here and there. And we're still, kind of ironing out. My wife wants to do the sauna. We have 2 kids. And so it's difficult to the kids come with us. So we have to figure out how do we maneuver that. And so what we've been doing is we're within walking distance from the gym. So what I do is I'll take the stroller, push the kids in the stroller, walk to the gym. My wife drives to the gym. She hops in the sauna and then she does a couple exercises and then we switch. And that's been working out great. So the health stuff is working out. I'm loving it. Now I got to sell my equipment. So if you know anybody who wants a Rep Fitness Arcadia, I'm selling it. And I have all the attachments, 500 plus attachments with it. So that's been doing good. Family update. Daughter is doing well. We've had some side effects as of late from our last session or IVIG. She's got another session coming up beginning of September. And what's happening is we're seeing increases of getting closer to her baseline, her friendly, her emotionally sound, her intelligent ability, her energy, articulation. All of that is starting to come in. So we thank God for that. My spirituality is growing, and I am just blown away. I know I've talked to him before about him before, David Bayer. His stuff has been very kind of eye opening. It's he's like the missing piece that I was looking for because for years I listened to Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, all the other gurus that you see on YouTube, um, Les Brown. I listen to motivational speeches, and you read the self help books and law of attraction, and all these categories that all line up together. But it was like, how do you do it? Like, do you just believe? Do you just like think about it? Do you just meditate on it? Do you write it down? Do you have a vision board? And David Bayer has probably one of the, I don't know what it is for me, but he just breaks it down and it's like, oh, that makes sense. So here's an example. For me, law of attraction, we've all heard that, right? Law of attraction, you think about it, you write it down, and some people meditate on it, they put on their vision board. David Bayer says you just make a choice. You make a decision. You write down a decision. So our decision is like for me with the layoffs, my law of attraction decision was that I was going to get paid to travel. I was going to be sought out for my expertise. I was going to have a remote position. And I don't know, I didn't write anything about the money, but these were choices that I made. This is what I want. This is what it's going to happen. And then you just let it go. That's it. Let it go. Because what David Bayer says is once you make those choices, you don't have to stress out over them because God, the universe, the energy, everything that entanglement of quantum physics and different dimensions is going to work out for you. And I kid you not, that's exactly what happened. That's how I got my job. What happened? I think I talked about this briefly. 2 days before I was getting laid off, got a call. Manager that I had interviewed with said, "Hey, We want you on top of that. And not only that, but it was a $25,000 decrease in pay. And in my mind, for whatever sense of thought, if you will, I mean, I didn't even write this down, but it was in my mind. And I said to myself, he's going to go to bat for me and he's going to give me a higher end of the scale. That's what I thought. And he did go to bat for me. He went to HR, he had it approved, and it wasn't just the higher end of my scale, it was the same rate where I was at. So I didn't get any decrease in pay. I didn't lose insurance for my daughter, and I'm working remotely, and it's a travel paid position. They sent me a corporate card. That is a perfect example of law of attraction if I've ever heard of it. So I want you to know it does work. Yes, there's going to be rough times. I mean, this was my fourth layoff. Yes, there's going to be times where things just don't work out for you the way you think they will, but they will work out. There's going to be things that you just don't understand on top of that. But you have to believe in the system of what God has out for you, the whole path, because He's got good things for you. Just are you willing to believe it? Now, here's another kicker. I'm going to talk about this. Some of you, it's kind of woo woo. Some of you might go freaking out. Don't freak out on me. Last week, really thinking and diving into this stuff. And I'm not constantly watching these videos. I'm maybe like one video, and they're only like 15 minutes. They're not that long. For whatever reason, my wife and I have been diving down and talking about spirituality and connecting with a higher level, and I don't know if she does. I watch a lot of NDE stuff, which is fascinating to me because there's a pattern. You see a pattern of people who have almost died and come back to life. And the pattern is one, I mean, some see hell, some don't see it. So the pattern, they also feel love. That's huge. That's a consistent thing across the board. They see loved ones that have passed away. They have a deeper, meaningful knowledge of why we're here, what this is all about. They understand that this isn't the end. So, and they don't want to come back, which kind of cracks me up. But those are the things that really resonated with me. And so thinking about those on a different level of, okay, spirituality, there's another dimension and there's other people on there. And I kid you not. So what had happened was I was prepping for another interview. So there was a higher position that I had applied for, same manager, and they had an opening slot. And they said, hey, do you want to interview? Sure, got nothing to lose. It's a higher paying job. But he said, here's the caveat, it's at 5 a.m. my time. So for me to get ready for that, I'd have to wake up at 4. So to get prepped. And then I had to build something in AI, a tool to demo. I had to do a demo, all that stuff. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to build the tool, which I actually built the tool before I got offered this interview slot. But I was practicing on going to bed early because I'm not a morning person. So I was sleeping in my daughter's bedroom and she was sleeping with mom. And between that state where you're asleep and then you're awake, in between there, I had woken up in the middle of the night, but I wasn't falling back asleep. I was in that relaxed state, which is what they say is when you're meditating, that's the state you're trying to get to. And that's why a lot of people, when they meditate, they actually fall asleep because they're getting to that threshold. Well, in that threshold, I had a vision, if you will, kind of a downloaded knowledge thing. It was my grandpa who's passed away, South Korea, no English. He had showed me, I guess, a vision. So what had happened is when he passed away, they said he slipped in the bathtub, hit his head, and died. I don't know if he drowned or he was, how he died of just a head thing. I don't know. But that's how he died. And that's how they categorized it, classified it, whatever. But in my vision, he came to me and said, no, I didn't just die. Someone had hit me on the head. That makes you think. I'm getting chills talking about it. So I thought, okay, so who did it? And then in there, I saw a woman. I didn't know who the woman was. Now, I'm not close to my grandpa. I never became close. I don't know much about him. I know what I've inherited from him as far as like some of the mechanical stuff that he did through, all the way down the lineage. I've met him, I think, a couple times. But my stepdad was really close to him. Didn't speak Korean, but they just got along and had that kinship and that energy. And my stepdad would go to Korea to visit. Anyways, so I tell my mom, I had this vision. I said dream, whatever. She said, "This is your religious box." She said, "Well, the dream means something. Talk to God about it." And, I had said to her, I had this, like, Grandpa was telling me these things. And she said it was a dream. It wasn't Grandpa. There's your box. It meant something. It's probably a vision or a dream of what God is trying to tell you. Well, okay. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, honestly. But my stepdad reaches out to me on the side and he says, I'll read it to you. It like solidified everything that I had a vision about. Now, this is the crazy part. It says, Mom and I have a different perspective. Your grandfather and I have developed a wonderful relationship. He spoke very little English, and my Korean was about the same. It was as if we communicated through gestures of kindness. His children didn't care for him none. I didn't understand why not. He and I would go for long walks, and he loved to show me his Korea. He cared about health. He was very healthy for a grandfather. Now here it is. Just 6 months after he bought a house for his son and his wife, his son's wife didn't care for grandpa at all. Her brothers were all connected to the police department. So there seems to be no way to prove anything otherwise. What does that tell you? There's no such things as coincidences. Okay? Kids don't care for him. He gets married. They're his stepkids. And I remember when I was younger, when he passed away, there was some kind of fight of inheritance. You heard those stories. And the wife wanted it. So I don't think I'm that far fetched to thinking that he was taken out. It wasn't an accident. If nobody liked him for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe he had a temper, but I don't know what the story is. But that just, it's loose, but it's there. And if you believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence, then I got to take that as meaning something. Going forward and looking at all the spirituality things, the one thing I started doing was I looked at all these teachers and self help gurus are always coming back to one book, and it's Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And he is the foundation of where all of these people have developed. And so I started listening to that. Now, I'm not saying to listen to it because it's an old book. It's pretty long. I'm listening to it audible, so that helps. But there is wisdom there for sure. And I think a lot of that wisdom these other teachers have kind of interpreted and made it really fulfilling on how to utilize this in today's date. I think the one thing that I have realized that listening to David Bayer talk about stress and anger, and that it really pulls you down, back from, and it blocks your desires, your manifestations, your ambitions, anything positive. And I remember growing up as a kid, super angry. I don't know what I was angry for. I was angry. And it was struggle. I struggled a lot when I was a kid, and which led me to fitness. I mean, that's why I worked out because I had to have an outlet of anger. I never got into drugs, never got into alcohol. Couldn't stand the taste, probably because of citrin deficiency, right? So that was kind of leading me in a certain direction. But all of that to say that there were things that were blocking me. And then recently I started thinking, am I still, do I still have anger issues on anything else? Like really doing a soul search and asking myself, is it my parents? Is there something else? Like my biological dad, we don't talk or anything, so I have no animosity against him. I have no attachment to him. I don't feel angry because they got divorced when I was 2, so I have no recollection of what it was like to be with him. I didn't feel like, oh, my dad left me. Like some kids go through when they're in their, younger ages, 6 teenager. So all that to say is look at yourself, see if there's something that's blocking you. If there's something that you need to reboot your mentality, reboot your physicality, or your emotional state, these are things, anger and stress, that could be blocking you from rebooting it 100%. I did make another AI ad. I'll link that in the show notes just so you guys can watch it. This is probably the best AI short film, whatever. It was a trailer. My idea was to actually make kind of cinematic trailers, but for businesses, so that it didn't really look like a commercial, but it looked like a movie that would be interesting. And the punchline at the end, the title of the film, is the business. So I leave you with this. This is our family mantra, and I hope you can utilize it. My wife goes, "You should use sign off with this," and it is health, wealth, and abundance. Wishing you well.